All right, so the how-to on these rings. So this is what we came up with, where you're going to make them a little wider than the last video. So this will give us a 1.5" face, and we're going to go 1.125" here, and then that's going to give us a little more room to actually grab here. So this gives us 3/8 of an inch for the lens. So how we're going to construct them is like so. You're going to have return material, and you're going to have a face ring, and you're going to have a backer ring up top there, and then you're going to have a ring of 1/4 inch. So that's what you got here. So you got your 1/4 inch, or no, this is your 09 rings and your returns. Got your 1/4 inch top ring, and you have a ring of mackerel on there. All right, so you got your returns. This is going to be basically try to be as delicate as possible. Even though you're welding something this small, it's going to be like trying to do surgery with a chainsaw. So you're just going to have to do the best you can, trying to keep everything as cool as possible, try to keep it from warping as much as possible. So I suggest first and foremost, get the roller in, dial it in right to where it's as close as you can possibly get it to this radius. The more that it's undercooked or overcooked, the more you'll have to be pulling, and then as you weld it, it's going to torque it. So you want that to be, because it's already going to be torquing when you weld. So you want to try to take your time to get this dialed in, and then make sure that you're rolling this one to the outside. So I'm giving you these little 90 degrees to have a seam to be able to weld and have some strength, but make sure you roll them the right way. So this guy's facing in, so roll this to the out, roll those to the in. Obviously the longer one, the shorter one. So when you go to put them on, just like doing a reverse channel, put the ring on your table, and then you're going to go on top and then line up the edge. I would suggest like getting a fender washer here and screwing it to your table and kind of screw that ring down as much as possible. Don't freehand these because they're going to get very, very crazy, and you're going to end up with a ring of calamari. Same thing here. And I would suggest jumping as much as possible, as much as you dare. Don't just start welding on one end and just go all the way around. Try to go as much as you dare to try to keep it from bowing in and out, but tack it, try to get it tacked down as much as possible. And then also flip it around and then do the top ring. So do the face ring and then turn around and do the top ring, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But before you get crazy and stitch it all together final, just worried that if you stitch this complete on this ring, when you go to put this ring on, this is going to be shrunk and all angry, and then this is going to be native. So you kind of, I think, want to try to like tack the face on as much as possible to one side, flip it, and then tack the other side of the ring, get it completed, tack your seams together here on the returns, then kind of get it all as a structure, then go back through and just start welding it to itself and get it nice and strong as much as possible. Like I say, I don't think you just want to start to go all the way around. Anyway, but yeah, it's just going to be a ballet of trying not to warp these too much. And then once you get them together like that, then one ring will sit on the outside and the other ring will sit on the other. They'll spin independently. You'll just line them up and just use self tappers, some nice big number 10s, and just frap that thing together. And then the idea is the lens is just perfect to fit inside the outer ring, and the inner ring here will fit on the inside of the Plex or the polycarb. So once these are all said and done, when you go to assemble these, just put some padding down so it doesn't scratch the faces, and then you're just going to slide this into the outer ring. Like we said in the other video, maybe you make some little blocks to keep this sliding around, but this is essentially going to be loose in here. And then you're going to bring this in, this side in, and slide it in, and then kind of have this ring loose in there. And then once it's trapped, you're going to put the backer on. We're looking at 1/2 inch all thread. Originally, some of the drawings had like a welded nut. I don't like the fact that they're only going to be about 6 threads, so I think it's better to just go all the way through, use steel, use regular nuts, trap it, and then here just use lock washers. So counter tighten against each other really well. That way this can never go anywhere. It'd be nice and strong that way. And then, when you're just going to put LEDs right down the middle, and when you get here, you can just 4x around and just put the wire right there, and then kind of, if you have to scrunch it, whatever. But you can miss that nut with your Tetramax, and then just put your LEDs on the top here, all the way around the ring. the ring really doesn't have any top or bottom. It's symmetrical, and you'll just have a power through that I guess will just zip tie to the all thread up. We can use, you can maybe use some black cord, or you can use the gray cable. You don't want to paint the gray cable, that's not UL, or we're not really worried about UL in these, that's fine. Either way, or look for some black PTL cable or something that's similar, and we can run it alongside that leg. But otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward. Like I say, just try to keep the heat as low as possible, but you got to make it strong. So just do what you can to sort of clamp it down to the table, or screw it down and jig it and kind of spin it as you go. And that way we'll have the best chance of not having this thing completely all warped and freaked out. So anyway, and then when you go to put the polycarbonate in, maybe even install, they can just leave it loose. They can center it once they get it in place, because I think even though this will be all, as best we can weld this might be kind of torqued a little bit. But even in the field, maybe they can just lift it ever so slightly and just inject a little bit of silicone just here and there, and then let it sit down on it. I don't know, maybe that'll help kind of keep it in place, but I don't really think it's a big deal if it isn't totally nailed down. It's just going to sit there. So anyway, so this will be the smallest of the rings. Going forward, like I said in the other video, the 10-footer will probably be broken into 3. So you're going to be doing this same thing, except you're also going to be dealing with a seam that you'll have to weld on the inside, and then sort of grind out just enough, as much as you dare, to be able to fit this. But you'll be welding the seam shut as well on the face. But what we'll do is we'll stagger the returns where that seam on the face and on the top, stagger these seams from the top and the bottom to where the seams are in this, and that way I think that should be a nice strong ring if you stagger the seams like that. Anyway, that's kind of how it looks for all of them. Just some of them will have more seams and more pieces, but that's kind of how we're going to do. So going forward, so just use this as reference for all of them if this is how it works. So good luck, we're all counting on you.